Hello and welcome to this edition of Joy in Our Town. I'm Ann Farrell Tata, your host, and I am so happy today to welcome Shawn Avery, the CEO of Opportunity Inc., and Bob Sharak, who works in development with Opportunity Inc. And today we're going to be our issue is employment, and we are going to be talking about the hot jobs for 2015. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome. So before we get started, Opportunity Inc., can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what the organization is all about?
Sure, I'll be happy to. Opportunity Inc. is the regional workforce development organization for South and Western Hampton Roads. We represent the cities of Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Chesapeake, Suffolk, Isle of Wight, Franklin, and Southampton. It's a huge district that we represent. We basically work with our localities to determine what the workforce development needs are in the areas we represent and make sure we have a quality talent to meet those needs. We work with the major employers to determine what those workforce development needs are and make sure our partners have programs in place to either meet the educational needs or work with our local individuals to make sure that they have those skills so they can go into those jobs.
Now, how do people find out about you? I mean,
Well, that's what I have Bob for. He's my public relations and marketing person. He's supposed to get the word out. But we have a one-stop career center where an individual is called Op Inc. One-Stop Workforce Center, where an individual who's looking for a job, been laid off, or looking for some upgrades, looking for some resume help, they can go there and we can provide them services to try to get them into the workforce. We work very closely with a lot of our partners, such as the school divisions, the community colleges, proprietary schools. They know about our program, so they may send somebody over to get our services. We go out a lot and try to talk to the business community to determine what their workforce needs are. So we're out and about, getting out there, trying to make sure that everybody knows what's going on, and we're meeting the workforce development needs for them.
So you actually have centers where people come. It's not online.
We do. We have several types of centers. We have centers for adults, which is again our Op Inc. One-Stop Workforce Centers. One is located over at Glen Rock Road in Norfolk, and then we have another one out in Franklin at the campus of Paul D. Camp Community College. Then we have some centers for youth as well. One is located right over at Pembroke Mall, where youth that's aged 14 to 21 can actually go get the same type of services we try to provide for adults.
Now, what are the hot jobs of 2015? What are you finding?
Well, what we do is we try to focus on the sectors, and the four major sectors that we're looking at is healthcare, maritime, advanced manufacturing, and information technology. And within each of those areas, there's quite a few actually hot jobs that are out there, or occupations that are really growing, and we're seeing a great demand in those areas. For example, in healthcare, nursing. It's always going to be a growing occupation, even during the downturn in the economy. That's one area that really didn't see that much of a blip in it. Aging population, individuals are getting, they're going to need that assistance. So nursing is definitely a big one. Some of the allied health, nurse aides, pharmacy techs, occupational therapists, those are areas that are still growing in that area. Advanced manufacturing, welding, it's always going to be big, especially in this area with ship repair and shipbuilding. Transportation, warehouse, and distribution in the maritime industry. Truck driving is huge. We're seeing record demands in that. Logistics type area, warehousing jobs, material handlers. In the IT, analysts, software developers, the list goes on and on. Those are just the four major areas we look at that we kind of focus a lot of our effort on. But then you go beyond that. Teachers are going to be growing. Retail's big. So there's a lot of opportunity here in Hampton Roads.
It sounds like it.
When you're in a big economy and you're in a big regional market, you have a lot of different areas. What may be a hot job in Virginia Beach may be different than a hot job out in Suffolk or Franklin. So
are you find that there is a big difference between the different?
Well, nursing, it goes across the spectrum. Maritime, it's kind of focused in the maritime area. Chesapeake, Norfolk, Portsmouth, it's kind of in the peninsula as well. So it depends, but since we're a regional organization, we try to make sure that we're talking with the employers in each of those areas to meet the needs of those specific localities. So, but there are some specific occupations that do transcend boundaries, and we try to make sure that we're doing the best we can to meet those needs. And Bob can probably provide some more in-depth statistics on those occupational areas.
With it, you really don't want to do a big number dump, but Shawn hit the high points in terms of the major areas, those 4 sectors. And construction's coming back. It's still not where it was prior to the recession, but construction should see some significant job growth this year as
Commercial as well as residential construction?
Just in general across the board. I didn't break it out by commercial or residential, but the trades we usually look at and those particular occupations, electrical and HVAC and that sort of thing, skilled trades will be, they'll be hiring in that particular area as well.
We try to look, going back to your question, general versus home, we try to look more at the skill sets. So the skill sets kind of transcend those occupational areas. So electrician, the basic skill sets are there. So we try to make sure that an individual has the skill sets so that they're not pigeonholed into an organization. We really try to focus a lot of our programs around career pathways so that an individual, if they get into a career, they've got the skill sets that they may be able to continue to grow in that career and go into different areas.
So now you work with the different schools, so is that where you get some of your people that are looking for, and like some of these technical schools, do they come and see you when they're looking for a job?
Well, we try to go the opposite way. We try to find individuals who may have been laid off or they've just hit a bump in their life, and they'll come to our centers and we'll try to talk to them about the career opportunities that are out there. And if they meet certain criteria that we have for our federal funds, we may be able to provide training, and then we'll send them to those schools like TCC.
That's great.
Unfortunately, we don't have an unlimited supply of training dollars. So even if we don't have training dollars available at that point in time, we'll still try to give them the right direction, either through the resume, get them focused. We'll help them with even financial aid or look at other opportunities that are out there from grants or things.
So even people that maybe they're not laid off, but they're just sort of in a dead-end job and they want something more challenging. You'd be a good person.
Yeah, that's really what we try to do. I mean, our whole focus is to make sure that we're growing the economy here in Hampton Roads, and really to do that is we need to have a quality workforce. It's really about workforce development, education's workforce, economic development's workforce. It's really about making sure we have the quality talent to meet the needs in the area.
And Shawn, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Shawn mentioned our one-stop, main one-stop in Norfolk. They see about 10,000 different people every year, about 40,000 visits. And offer resume writing and job interview skills workshops and other kinds of workshops. So we do have programming available for people even if we don't have training money. As Shawn mentioned, a lot of those people come from the schools, but they also, we get a lot of referrals from the Virginia Employment Commission. And, our one-stop is literally a one-stop in that we have a variety of different partners from the Virginia Employment Commission to the community colleges to the Department of Aging and Rehabilitative Services to assist people in just about anything they need when they come in.
Now, are these staffed by employees or are they volunteers?
Staffed by employees of Opportunity, but we also have partner organizations such as Bob mentioned. The Virginia Employment Commission has staff that comes over to our one-stop to try to work with our clients. Tidewater Community College has staff that comes over, Department of Rehabilitative Services. So we try to work with our partners to make sure that we have not only our staff there, but if an individual may need additional services, we have the partners there that can meet those needs.
How about mentors? Do you do any mentoring?
We do that through our youth program. So what we've been talking about primarily is developing the adult population, but we also do a lot around the youth, the K-12 system, or the emerging workforce is what we call it. So we try to, through our Youth Career Center, we try to connect the youth that come through there with some business mentors or internships, because it's really, it's great if we can do this, the adult population and get them right now, but we need to make sure we're also developing that workforce that's coming through the pipeline right now. So going back to Bob's point on our numbers through the one-stop, 10,000, we did over 500 individuals got credentials last year, and the governor of Virginia, his new goal is 50,000 credentials over the next few years, and we're part of that as well. We want to be the solution to that and help do that. So again, last year, 500 credentials we were able to provide individuals, and that's that's really making sure that the individuals have the skill sets that they need to be successful.
One other area is, this is Hampton Roads, so
Right.
veteran services is critical, is a critical component to our programming, and we work with recently transitioned vets as well as people who've been out a while. Sometimes we get folks who just come in because they're unemployed, but we also have programming a workshop after TAP. The Navy used to call their transition program TAP, and we do a sort of an augmented transition assistance program once a month at our one-stop workforce center in Norfolk, and we do work probably with somewhere between 1,800 and 2,000 vets a year. So,
Wow. I'm glad you brought up the military. I was actually wondering about that. And what about people that are currently in the military? Can they come and see you now in preparation
Sure.
for getting out? And
Again, our services are open to the public, free of charge. Anybody can come use our services at our locations. We also have a website at www.inc.org.
which matters when you're trying to get that website.
Exactly, which is virtual, so you can go on there and see what services
Yeah.
we offer as well. So, again, military, we try to promote our services to the military at all time, and they can use those anytime.
How about part-time jobs? Do y'all help people with part-time jobs as well?
Well, anybody, a business can work with our one-stop and post jobs there as well. So if they're part-time, full-time, and we're really trying to get individuals into full-time employment. But
Right.
maybe somebody is interested in a part-time position, especially through the youth. We really try to work with part-time employment through our youth. If an individual's going to school, it may be tough for them to do a full-time job anyway.
Right.
Our Youth Career Center sees about 9,000 kids every year, and they have every year, this is the third year now, I think, they have a youth employment opportunity fair for summer jobs.
Oh,
and
that's
coming up
great.
in March. We basically see somewhere between 1,000 or 1,200 kids and their parents and that come through. And the vendors that we have, and your local employers who have part-time and summer employment jobs, they hire them on the spot. So
That's
it's good. It's good. Yeah,
fantastic.
it's great. You'll see the young people filling out paper applications and that sort of thing. It's really exciting.
So do they promote that in the public schools? How do you find out about that?
We do promotion here and through our partners. So I don't know to what extent they're listed in the public schools, but we do through our Youth Career Center, and they see a lot of kids, and also we'll get the word out through our partners.
And where do they hold
It's
this?
it's located
Oh, it's at
Pembroke
the actual
Mall.
It's in the
center.
mall.
Well,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
through the mall.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I
In
think
Virginia
they're gonna have
Beach.
about
Yes.
50 employers there or more.
Well, last year we had, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 40, and we're hoping to have more this year.
That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is, I think, the third year we're doing it, and it's been better every year. So it should be good. March time frame, so we'll have the information on our website, so folks can come to our website.
And a phone number
find
too.
out
Do
where
y'all have
that
a
is.
phone
Yeah.
number that people can
Sure.
call?
Sure. We'll have that. We'll make that available, so you can put that up on the
Yeah,
cart.
because that's a wonderful,
Yeah, it's
wonderful
great.
to
And
offer.
please go. We're on Facebook as well. Youth Career Center is on Facebook. They can go there and see whenever the services.
Yeah, if you're talking
are
to the
up.
youth, you want to talk
Exactly.
about Facebook.
Go to Facebook.
Well, thank you, Shawn and Bob, and we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about more specific marketing skills that to get these people ready for their jobs.
Sounds great.
I'm Ann Farrell Tata. This is Joy in Our Town, and we will be right back with Shawn Avery and Bob Sharak. Hello, this is Ann Farrell Tata with Joy in Our Town. We're back. We've been joined by Shawn Avery and Bob Sharak from Opportunity Inc. And we've been talking about employment. Our issue is employment, and now we're going to be talking about specific marketing job skills. So welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. So let's talk about the employee, that all the different types of employees. What kind of actual skills can you train them, or are you looking for, or how does all that work?
Sure. Depending on the industry, I mean, the skill sets are different. Again, healthcare, they've got different certifications that they need. We try to determine what industry that they're interested in, and then we'll look at the different job opportunities that are there, and then we'll look at the different training programs that are out there and kind of try to connect the individual with those training programs if they're going through our one-stop workforce center. If it's the youth, we just try to get them to understand what those career pathways are and talk to them about the career opportunities in those areas and then what skills that they would need. So again, we'll just briefly talk healthcare, nursing.
Let me just ask real quick before we leave there. So when somebody comes in, do you do an assessment, or are you more just sort of interviewing them and asking them, what do you want to do? What have you done?
We do
How
do
does all
some
that?
assessments, and we talk to them maybe about what their past experience has been. So if it's an individual who's been in the maritime industry, we'll maybe try to connect them back into the maritime. The bottom line is we're trying to get an individual back into the workforce.
Right.
And most of the time, the employer or the employee, that's their number one interest as well. They don't really sometimes have the luxury of going for training. So,
right.
So we'll do an assessment of them to determine what their skills are that they have now, and if it's something that we can connect right back into the industry, we will definitely try to do that.
So sometimes it's a really quick turnaround
It could be.
when somebody comes
Absolutely.
in.
And you know, most of the time that is what they're looking for. So
Yeah.
as of those 10,000 individuals that we have come through our one-stop, a majority of them are just interested in getting right back into the workforce and you know, taking care of their family. But if we do have that luxury or they have that luxury of upgrading their skills, then we'll try to do some assessments to determine what the best path is for them. We'll show them the options that are out there, and if we have training funds, again, we'll try to help them out with that, or they meet the qualifications. But if not, we'll connect them to the schools that are best suited for them, get them the skill sets, and get them out. Those are what we call the hard skills. We've done numerous employer surveys, and we've talked to many major employers in the area. And sometimes what they tell us is, you know, we're really looking for individuals who have the soft skills, the showing up to work on time, the listening skills, the dressing for success. And so we're really trying to tackle that issue. I mean, that's number one.
That's sad.
Well,
that
you know,
they want somebody that comes to work on time. And
yeah, and you know, sometimes they say, if you can give me somebody who has those soft skills, we can provide the training on the job. And so we're working with our partners, we're working with the school divisions, we do workshops, we work with partners such as the Urban League and various community-based organizations to try to put some programs in place to develop those soft skills.
Yeah.
Especially
That's
in
where
emerging
mentoring
workforce.
will really help.
Mentoring,
Yeah.
absolutely. And please don't get me wrong, there's a lot of individuals who have those soft skills, and employers, you know, pick them up very quickly. So, but that's definitely one of the areas that we try to focus on is making sure that an individual understands you got to show up to work. Work starts at 8 o'clock. That means don't get there at 8:05. That's not showing up on time. Really get there 5 minutes before if you can. You know, dressing for success. Really, you know, dressing for the position that you're taking.
So you counsel them and coach them on what to wear.
We do workshops, both at the adult level, but also in our youth career centers that we have, working with the students, getting them to understand exactly what employers are looking for.
And you know, we do a lot of the soft skill work with our youth clients, and we have not just we have a youth career center at Pembroke Mall, which sees quite a few people every year, and then we also have regular Workforce Investment Act funded youth programs in the school systems, and we focus those programs on STEM education, so to try to drive home the fact that STEM jobs are more plentiful. They're the jobs that are going to pay more, and to get kids interested in those kinds of careers. And in those programs and buried into those programs, we do have soft skills and what we call workplace readiness skills training for youth so that they come out of those programs with an idea of what career path they want, but also what skills, soft skills and hard skills they need to be successful.
Now, STEM jobs.
Science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
All right.
Sorry about that.
You know,
and that STEM.
Probably going back to that soft skills, and you know, math is probably a big one too.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of employers say we need to make sure that the students or the employees that we get have math skills. Math runs the gambit from healthcare, making sure you give the right prescriptions to advanced manufacturing, making sure you can measure properly. So math is something we try to focus on quite a bit in a lot of our programs.
So at your one-stop centers, do you have, I know you said workshops, but can somebody just come in off the street and say, will you help me write my resume?
Sure.
Or do you have classes where you have a resume writing class? Or both?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Both, yeah. I mean, we try to be pretty flexible. I mean, you know, it's very hard to be everything to everybody, but really this is about a one-on-one type service that sometimes
Right.
we have to offer. If somebody needs a little extra help, we try to do that. I mean, we try to go out of our way to make sure we have the best workforce in not only Virginia but the nation. I mean, that's how we're going to grow the economy.
No, success for you, is that obviously getting somebody back to work, but is there a time period? Are you measuring that, or what is
Yeah,
the
we have a lot of
success?
performance measures, based on, as you can imagine, with federal funds.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we're using the dollars properly. So we have a lot of performance measures, from making sure an individual gets a credential to placement rates to graduating on time. So it depends on what program we're talking about. Our youth programs have different measures. They graduation rates, literacy rates, our adult measures, again, placements.
Right.
So we try to track that, but just in general, we're just trying to make sure we have a quality workforce, and so it runs different across our different programs.
Particularly when we help to pay for training, we have a 2-year window, so individuals can take. They can go for a LPN degree, licensed practical nurse, right?
Yes,
they can
thank
go
you.
for a registered nursing degree, and so we do allow for more rigorous, more sophisticated programs of study, but we also do short-term information technology training, the certifications that people need to get a job if they've got some background already. So, I mean, it does run the gamut, but we do have the flexibility to give people that extra time to go through a longer training program for some of these more in-demand jobs, particularly in healthcare, where you need a degree and you need some sort of certification, license or certification in order to get a job at all. So, yeah.
And you guys you're sort of liaison too. You're working with the companies and
Yeah,
the employee.
I say we're a connector of the dots.
Yeah,
so
that's what it sounds
we
like.
we might not, we probably don't have all the answers.
Right.
But what we try to do, myself, my staff, I got a great staff, we try to make sure we understand what players are out there. So if we're not one of the ones that can make it happen, then we know exactly who to send that person to or how to connect that dots. We definitely are trying to connect the dots with what the employer needs and what the individual needs or our emerging workforce. So yeah, exactly. Connector of the dots is what I like to say.
So when people come in, do you have some prospective employees that just come into your center and sort of sit there and they're looking for jobs right there?
We have different levels of services that we offer. Not to get into the technical terms, but basically core services. If an individual just wants to come in, use our bank of computers to do their own job search, it's kind of self-directed. They can come in there, use our services.
That's
Don't even have to
wonderful.
talk to anybody. I mean, they have to register, but they can go sit at the computer and just type away. If they can find
Yeah.
a job, do it themselves. If they need that little bit extra help, we've got career developers on staff. We have staff that'll help them do their resumes. They can attend workshops. So yeah, I mean, it runs the gamut.
That is awesome. And
It
it
is.
doesn't cost anything.
It does not cost anything.
So anyone can just come in and
Yeah, and we also in our one stop we have business services reps who actually can work with businesses if they are expanding and they want to do a job fair. They can do the job fair right there at our one stop center.
So you actually hold job fairs at your...
We do.
Yeah, we will work with an employer. We can do some screening. So we have a job board on our website. So what we do is when an employer has a job that they post with us, the applications come to our staff, and we do an initial screening for them. So
That's
particularly for a
great.
lot of small employers, that's a nice service for them because they don't have to wade through a lot of resumes and that may not be in any way, shape, or form applicable for the job. So we try to give them only those that meet at least the basic criteria that they've established. And then for those individuals who applied and but really didn't make that first cut, we can then work with those people because we have their contact information to say, well, not this job, but maybe you're better for something else, and try to help them connect up with employment. So we really do have the ability to do a lot of different services, both for the employer and for job seeker.
So in your initial screening, can you also conduct interviews right there? Do you bring them in and interview them?
Occasionally we do that. I mean, we'll have an employer. If an employer is looking for a certain number of employees, we can host a single employer job fair, and we'll do outreach and again, pre-screen. And a lot of times when we do those kinds of things, what we will do is we will put the individuals through a couple of workshops to make sure they are really prepped and ready to go. We've done that with a number of different employers in the region, and if that employer is also looking for younger youth workforce part-time people, our Youth Career Center partners with the One Stop Workforce Center, and they handle from 14 or 16 probably for working, 16 to octogenarian, right, till whatever, so they work really well together.
Yeah, this is a wonderful resource.
It is. It's a great resource. I mean, and we work with current employers who are already in business to working with our economic development departments. If a new company's coming to town and they're just starting up,
they reach out to you.
They reach out to us, and we'll help them get that quality workforce right off the bat.
And we don't charge the employer, nor do we charge the job seeker. We provide these services as does the Virginia Employment Commission with unemployment. It's something that is a benefit for individuals and for employers that they should know about and should tap into if they need it.
Absolutely. Well, and even you probably don't offer this, but like temporary services, but you probably have access to people that, if somebody, because think about a military transit, people say, I'm only going to be here 6 months. I would let, my husband, my wife wants to work a little while. They want to work.
Yeah, our staff knows all those resources at the One Stop, and so they would connect the dots if it's something that's. We try to know everything that's going on around workforce development and connect those dots if it needs to happen.
And for some people, temporary is temporary to permanent, so they'll go and they may get a job with a temporary agency that puts them in short-term employment here or there until they can find something that's a more permanent situation.
This is remarkable. I'm so glad to know about this, and I'm so glad you guys came out to tell us more about it. And we're about out of time, but before we go, Shawn and Bob, thank you for being here, and will you just give your website one more time?
I will. It's www.opp-inc.org, so www.op-inc.org.
And the youth? Facebook?
Go to Facebook, Youth Career Center.
Youth Career Center.
Or Opportunity Inc. We have a corporate one, and we do have the Youth Career Center as well.
Thank you so much. This is Ann Farrell Tata. We've been joined by Shawn and Bob, and thank you for watching Joy in Our Town, and have a great day.
This program has been sponsored by the Trinity Broadcasting Network and made possible by your telethon dollars. Your continual support can keep Joy in Our Town brought to your home every day. So write Joy in Our Town, P.O. Box A, Santa Ana, California, 927.